Do your part. Stay 6 feet apart. Thank you for wearing your mask and practicing social distancing guidelines during your visit. Enjoy the show.
This is WNRG 108.1.
Looking to grow or expand your business?
Yo, bro, you read my mind.
Well, we have the perfect solution for you. Your business needs are important, and so is your advertising. Here at WNRV Power 108.1, we have marketing solutions for all your business needs and affordable pricing to keep you in the green. Give us a call today at 216-702-0688. That's 216-702-0688. Or email us at WNRVPower1081@gmail.com today.
This is
All line up.
What's up, y'all? This is Larry H. Gardner of the new show, The Headline Eye, coming at you every single Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m., where we talking about hot subjects, spitting hot fire on WNRV 108.1, where we getting on your nerve.
This is WNRV 108.1.
I can hear it. Yeah, I'm good.
You turn the camera on. I just took it. I don't have a whole bunch of cameras.
Man, you do what you want to do. You don't want to know why your shit ain't bothering you.
Hey,
that's on you. That's on you.
Just turn the camera on, please.
T-Rex ain't here. You know why T-Rex ain't here. T-Rex on the bigger and better things, you know? Nothing your show for mine.
Just turn the camera on. Thank you very much. Love you. All right.
This is how this go. You do the introduction and all this be playing until everybody ready.
You got to tell you ready. Is he on the phone? Is he on the phone?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Until he get off the phone.
All right. You ready?
He trying to get him a few minutes to get here.
Good.
That's what I think he's trying to do.
All right, welcome to another edition of The Headline. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner. The H stands for Hot Ones. It's getting kind of hot for certain hip-hop artists that like to say some stuff. So the thing about it is the Clean with the Dough mic is not here, unfortunately. We have Brandon Nixville. Unfortunately, he was called away on business, but Chill is coming. Kevin MC Chill Hurd is coming. The Human T-Rex is back on the ones and twos after he was playing chauffeur to a whole bunch of people last week at the Mary J concert.
Well, don't be telling my business. See, that's what your problem is.
I tell you up here, don't be telling my business over here. You cool though. So, but the thing about it is, whoever went to the Mary J Blige concert, I hope y'all had a good time, especially the women with the high heels. That hurts. You know, things about that nature. I understand.
Have you tried it?
What?
Walking in high heels.
No. Shayla Jackson is here on the ones and twos. I am not going to do that. I've seen the women take them off in the club. I was a club promoter for once upon a time, and I understand they take them off, put them on in slippery sandals, and hopefully nobody's spilling any drinks in the club before that happens. So that's cool. That's cool. So I'm going to say something, and before I say anything about a certain hip hop artist, and I try to keep his name anywhere near me because it brings bad juju. I'm not trying to lose this show.
Kanye.
Mr. Whatever the hell he's calling himself right about now. I think he's massaging a lasagna while he's thinking about joining ISIS next week. So before that, early voting has already started for the election, November 8th. We got the governor race in Ohio. We got some other things going on. We got the thing, and not only just here in Ohio, but all across the country, midterm elections, pretty much. So, by the way, the race between Congressman Tim Ryan and J.D. Vance is heating up. Is actually at a dead heat. The Cuyahoga County executive position with Lee Weigart and Chris Romney is heating up, and also the governor's race between Mike DeWine and Nan Whaley is coming up. Shayla.
Yes.
Before we get into, you mentioned something on the way over here about DeWine.
Pat Wine Fitch.
What does that mean to the people that don't understand?
Okay, well, they are men,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to let everybody know to forgive my language before I say it, but they have penises. They can't have children.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to want to pretty much abolish abortion is, to me, that's wrong. Because a woman has a right to whatever she wants to do with her body.
Right.
And they had the fun out of it. We got all the fun and the pain. So,
It's so fun for y'all.
yes, that is the truth. It's what it is. How is a man going to tell a woman what to do with their body?
Right.
And especially that little 10-year-old girl that got raped. Now you saying that rape victims and people of incest, if they get pregnant, they can't have an abortion and have shame? I'm just saying. What you think?
I mean, the thing about it is, like, as a man, I'm not trying to tell any woman what to do with their body at all. Especially, but the thing is that, that's why we vote, period. Because the simple fact of the matter is that we have to realize one thing's for sure and two things for certain. If we don't control if we don't control the vote on our own destiny, somebody else will. Somebody else will vote for you in your place and vote differently. Because we already know that there's people out there that believe in no abortion, no matter what the circumstance.
But I'm going to give it to you like this. I don't believe in abortions myself. But my thing is I feel that people had a right to do what they want to do with their body.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that was the case, love my babies, they wouldn't be here. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. So yeah, I understand that. Here's the thing, but it's always everybody wants to have this morals clause, but don't want to do anything. Let's be honest. When the child is here, then the health care is cut off, the other things are cut off, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But when the child, everybody is pro-life until the life gets here.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Now, if you the thing about it is if you had services for the child for low-income families and stuff like that, and you pro-life and everything is available to the child when the child gets here and available to stuff not only to the child but the mother as far as support, as far as especially underage things of that nature, then I can understand. But you can actually, and you actually need to know that when you're here, that you're taken care of.
Exactly. So you should not be able to tell a woman what she can and can't do if she can't provide for that child.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is that, we already know what the state of it is. So we need to go ahead and go VOTE. That means vote. That means get out, get the same line that you stood in for that Mary J. Blige concert.
Yup.
Is the same line you can go into to vote. So if you stood in a long line for them tickets, I know they are I seen the outfits Mary J. Blige wore. So they was high class. So, and they high end. And if you paid some money for them tickets, especially the married men out there, shout out to y'all for going with y'all women to the Mary J. Blige concert. Because every time she was talking, because Mary got some songs about some men, it was messed up and stuff was messed up. He's probably looking at you like, remember the time when you left the toilet seat up and something you did and you came out like,
and I fell in. Yeah.
Right. That nature.
Right.
So I got to give a couple of shout outs, Lisa Lely Nelson, and shout out to Natalie Fitton. Natalie's been sick for a while. Hey, Nat, I'm glad that you're here, and my guest is also here. So we're going to talk before we talk about Kanye, Ye West, Balancina, whatever, those things, the Adidas stuff.
Adidas dropped him like a bad habit, baby.
The shoe dropped you, and not only dropped him, but stole his designs. So he ain't got no designs no more. So I don't know how he gonna get them blueprints.
Yeah.
Because of we're gonna talk to a legend in the building. Legend. And the thing about it is when you have somebody that's a legend, you treat them with the utmost respect. And the thing is that we want to treat them with the utmost respect because he's right in front of us right now. So, T-Rex, you got his song up, ready, queued up.
Like I only got one song.
You got more than one, but there's one song that I actually like.
The rest of
No. The rest aren't. But one of my favorites. I always got a favorite Pac song. I got a favorite Biggie song, and I got a favorite song of you.
Okay.
So that's the one song I have. So, and this is one of my favorites. You know what it is. So if you're hearing the MC story, we got the man that made the MC story. And the thing about it is that the man in front of you is the man with the lyrical, kingly verses of this song. Please welcome the president of the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists, who's going to lead us into the convention here in Cleveland in 2025. Please welcome none other than Kevin MC Chill Hurd in the building.
MC Junior, what's happening, King?
You're the only one can call me that.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. First of all, before we get into anything, you took a trip to the motherland. Everybody know that Egypt's in Africa. How was Egypt, man?
Oh, my God. Well, first of all, Larry, I don't want to take you off course, but I do want to say your choice of my songs to be your favorite song, I can respect that because MC Story is probably my favorite song of all my songs that I did. So respect on that. You put some respect on my name.
Exactly. I got to put some respect on your name. If it wasn't for you, it'd be no me, for real. I'm going to be honest with you. If you know, chill talk, things of that nature, what you've been doing, the interviews, I actually, to be honest, I love the interview you did with Halle Berry.
Okay. Well, you know that's my G, that's my homie.
Yeah.
But I've done several.
And you've done several.
With HB.
But you've done several with it. Yeah, Halle Berry's your homie. So I'm like, would you please give her my number? But I'm asking for a friend. Mainly my twin, Barry Gardner. But there's a low. But
we'll see what we can do.
All
we'll see what you can do, you know, just because you're the Fresh Prince of Lee and Harvey.
Thank you very much. And the reason he calls me that, Chills knows my father. Shout out to my dad, Larry H. Gardner Sr., who is listening. He was back home in Cleveland. So let's go. But Egypt, how was it, man?
Oh my God, man, Larry. Egypt was, you know, it's hard to really describe it, to put it into words. You know, you've seen it in books and photos and movies, but when you really are there, you can touch the stone. Put your hands on the walls, climb up on the pyramid, look the Sphinx in the face. Man, it's a whole different thing, bro. And, you know, most people that know me know that I really get down with ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet. And to actually be there, to walk in the sand, to sail the Nile, to put your hands in the river, man.
What does that feel like? It
is hard to explain. It's like a validation of everything that you've read about, that you've seen, that you've heard about. It's hard. It's really, as a person who has spent almost all of my adult life and pre-adult life expressing myself and putting it into words, whether verbally or written. It's hard to really explain. My boy, brother Reggie Mabry, who's famous on them YouTube streets, who's been over to Egypt millions of times with the masters, with John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben Yakinen, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. He told me, he said, "Congratulations, Chill, you part of the Bentu tribe." I said, "What's the Bentu tribe?" He said, "The brothers that actually been to Egypt."
Exactly.
Not just talking about it.
Thank you. B. Cool Kaza said, "What's up?" Natalie Pittman said, "What's up?" Ramina Foster said, "What's up?" Chill. You said the Bentu tribe. So you was over there with a couple of, I saw you one picture with Bashir Jones.
That's my brother.
And of course, I know your wife went with you.
Yeah, it was probably about 25 of us all together. And this was something that my brother Bashir put together because he went to Egypt and he came back and said, "Man, that's something I got to share with other people." And oddly enough, I was at the Cleveland Museum of Art where, where I do tours of the Egyptian gallery, independent tours. I don't want any problems from the Museum of Art.
Right.
I have to say independent tours. But shout outs to the Cleveland Museum of Art. But I was there and I was talking to my sister Leola Daniels from Destination Cleveland. And we were talking about trying to see if we could get a national convention for the Black Journalists Association here in Cleveland. That was meeting number 1, Larry. That's where it all originated from. And in that process, she started talking about how she really loves stuff about ancient Egypt. And I told her I did a tour of the gallery, which was right across from us as we were already sitting there.
Right.
And so I said, well, let me give you a quick tour right now. And I took her on the tour. So she was like, chill, I got to get you to Egypt. I'm going to make it. I'm going to will it to happen. Just like she willed it to happen for us to get that event in 2025. Then she called me and said, chill, Bashir is taking a group over there. You need to call him. Call his sister, Nikisha Johnson, who's a travel agent. And I called her. We started setting it up. And I talked to Bashir, and he was glad to have me on board. And man, it was, and and to be there with my people, it was nuts, man. It was incredible.
If the thing about it is, should every African American person in America take a visit? Because Egypt is in Africa. It's not not its own continent. So should every African American person take one trip before they kick the bucket? Should that be on their bucket list?
Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
That's a for sure bucket list. And I'll tell you this, because I've heard all of this stuff about where Egypt is, and it's in this made up place called the Middle East. And I don't know where that's at. Where I landed at, Larry, I landed in Africa. I landed on the continent. So I landed in Cairo, and I looked on the map, and it was Africa all day long. So the answer to your question is, I think, just to explore the greatness on so many levels of African achievement, of engineering, of science, of medicine, of the birthplace of writing, man.
Of us.
And I'm saying, and it's writing that not that you heard about as a myth. It's still there.
It's there. It ain't going nowhere.
It's still there. It's
Columbus
written in stone, like Earth, Wind, and Fire says, it's written in stone. And you can touch the stone.
Exactly.
You can see the word.
Right.
And it's so I think that it should be, and not to downplay the rest of the continent. The continent is the birthplace of human beings.
Right.
We all come from that continent. But as far as the flower of the continent, the highest form of civilization that the world has ever seen, continuous for over 3,000 consecutive years. No civilization has ever maintained a consecutive status for over 3,000 years. United States of America started technically what?
250 years ago.
Yeah, 17.
Right,
1770, whatever the hell.
1775.
That's not even 250 years ago.
Exactly.
247.
247.
I don't know. Google it.
247. All right, so you're talking about 3,000 consecutive years. We're not even talking about pre-dynastic Egypt, the Naqada. But yeah, no, bruh. Yeah, so the answer to your question, to make a short story long, yes, everybody should go.
So what was your favorite place on to Egypt visiting?
I had two. Now, of course, the headline, you got to go see the pyramid.
Right. Yeah, the pyramids. Everybody want to see those.
And when you talk about the pyramids, you really are, most people are talking about one, the Great Pyramid at Giza, which is, one of the most phenomenal buildings, and you never could understand.
Are you able to touch those buildings when you went there?
Touch it. I climbed on it. I took the Lee Harvey pose.
I think I saw one of your pictures.
I had to lean back with the leg up on the rock.
Oh, Lord.
Man, please. Hand on chin, arms crossed. I had the Lee Harvey pose on the Great Pyramid.
Right. So The next thing is, I know there might be a documentary or something coming out of this. Did you have enough time to record, or you just was looking at everything else?
Man, let me tell you, I recorded everything. I recorded, I took pictures, I took video footage. At the end of every day, I was prepared for that. So at the end of every day, I downloaded all of my footage to an external hard drive. I came with a 4 terabyte external hard drive. So I have thousands of pictures and images. But real quick, I never did. The Great Pyramid is the number one stunner. But my 2 favorite locations were, how we doing on time, bro?
We good.
We good. My 2 favorite locations was the Step Pyramid, which is the first and oldest of the pyramid, built by the African genius Imhotep, who was like the father of architecture, the father of medicine, the father of science. He was a multidisciplinarian. That was one. And the second was not even on our agenda, wasn't on our itinerary. Went to the island of Elephantine in Aswan, down in the most southern part of Egypt, right before you cross into what they will call Nubia, the Sudan. It is an island of, for lack of a better word, blackety black people. All over Egypt, different people look different. Mm-hmm. It's a metropolitan, especially when you're near Cairo, and you have a influx of different looking people. They all brown.
Yeah.
But you got light brown, kind of light brown.
Well, that's what's
brown,
beautiful about
a little
us.
dark brown. But when you get down to southern Egypt, which, by the way, is called Upper Egypt, the south, because the Nile does this strange thing. It flows from south to north.
Uh-huh.
So southern Egypt is actually Upper Egypt. And those people on that island looked like they was from Lee and Harvard, man. They're like people I saw walking up and down the street every day. And they were like family. They treated me. Man, Bashir was like the king of the island. They loved him. Obviously, he had been there before.
Right.
But yeah, man, it was an experience just to build with the people. I got a chance to walk around that island almost alone to see architecture, ancient artifacts, was just laying around unprotected. I mean, I could have picked up a 3,000-year-old artifact and brought it here and be put on the table like bam. But it was the love. They was like, go ahead, chill, you our brother. Walk around, look and see what you see. And man, the Elephantine Island was a different experience because it was a more of a brotherhood, a family, non-commercial atmosphere. So yeah, that was special to me.
Is Cairo populated like New York City? Is it you that high?
Man, Cairo is one of the most densely populated areas in the world, on the planet. Except it's hot. It's like 107 degrees.
It's hot.
That's hot.
And I was there in October, and it was 107 degrees.
So imagine going in the summertime.
I ain't gotta imagine. Look,
you can miss me on that.
I just moved back from Florida, so I know what that type of hot is.
Right. One more thing on the mask. How was the COVID? Like, you have to wear masks anywhere over there?
You did not have to wear masks. Now, myself, I was masked up when we were in like tight places where it was just like a lot of people. But for the most part, you it's not mandated that you have to wear a mask. But Cairo was special, man. It's busy, and I'm telling you, they got the most aggressive hustle. They'll spend a half an hour and walk a mile next to you trying to sell you something for $1.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's because our money is worth
Right.
And that weather?
19.5%. So basically, our dollar is worth $20.
Oh.
Wow.
So if you mess around and get $20 for something, they're going like to buy a couch.
Did you just give it to them anyway? You made them walk?
Not $20. No. But I had some Egyptian pounds. I changed some of my money to Egyptian pounds. And some of that money I didn't even spend. I just kept it and brought it back to keep as souvenirs. But for the most part, for $1, man, you can make it happen over there for $1. And they go charge you. Like, okay, let me tell you. You go to the bathroom. There ain't no toilet paper in there.
No, he did with
But they're
the
gonna charge you.
flush.
But guess what? It's gonna be a dude standing there with some toilet paper talking about $1, my brother. So they're gonna get you for $1, man.
That's interesting.
That is very, but that's the hustle over there. So the thing about it is that you went there, you brought your. Did you bring your children with you?
No, my daughter is hot behind that one.
Ooh,
because-
no, she is.
Yeah, my daughter, my daughter Jordan, Naira, Patrice Hurd. But yeah, she because she always, for the most part, was my assistant on the tours that I do at the museum in the Egyptian gallery. So she knows a lot about ancient Egypt and a lot of the terms and even a lot of the languages, the Medu Neter. And from seeing me doing translations at the museum, she's even picked up some of the basic forms of reading the what they call hieroglyphics, actually the Medu Neter. But yeah, so she didn't go. But here's the thing, Larry, we in talks right now about me taking my own group back in October. So in about 2 weeks.
And you better take her this time.
So in about 2 weeks, I'm going to know for sure. I'll make an announcement on what actually I'm going to do and how it's going to break down. But I'm thinking that I'm going to take a group over there in October.
So the thing of next year.
Next year. Yeah, well, this is October right now. So
October right now. So
give everybody a year to get their
their passport and go up. How much dough do you need to be over here?
Get your passport. Hey, let me tell you something. Everybody, because you never know when you gotta roll out to another country, and you're gonna need a passport. I need to tell everybody we're meant to be world citizens. Well, Dr. Funkenstein told me I was a citizen of the universe, but you can't be a citizen of the world and you don't have a passport. So start applying for that right now. It's not that much money. So you asked me how much to be in Egypt. It depends on what type of structure. We had a nice deal, man. We had most of the time it was breakfast and dinner was a what's when it's just food everywhere.
The buffet.
There you go.
Buffet, a la carte.
All of that.
It's called a buffet.
And it was freaking delicious. But so most of the time our meals were free for breakfast and dinner. Lunch, we were normally always out. So, we had to, and you got to watch what you eat too. And, I tell anybody going over to Egypt, number one rule, do not drink the water.
Really?
Do not drink the water. You're going to have a problem.
No.
You're going to be bent over with your stomach hurting.
Hey, we going to be going off the... Exactly. Hey, we going to be off to the pyramid and you going to be in your room in the back. And like, y'all leave without me. I'll be on the next... I'll see the Sphinx tomorrow.
So I miss all of Egypt.
But no, it's pretty... I mean, it's not a lot. Once you pay that fee and for, it's less than if you were going to like Bermuda or, Jamaica or something like that. It's equivalent. So if you can spend the money to, to stay up under those palm trees, they got those palm trees in Egypt. But yeah, it's not that expensive. And like I said, the money there, your money goes a lot. You can buy a lot with like $20, $50. You can ball out. Because like I said, it's that, 20-to-1 ratio. So
you ever thought about what about you like? And I know some people have been moving other places. Have you thought about leaving the States and going to Egypt and getting property there?
I do know that a lot of brothers are looking at property in Egypt. It's different rules and regulations because it is an Arab republic. Actually, technically, the name of Egypt is the Arab Republic of Egypt. So you gotta, it's strict rules. Every male child has to serve, I believe it is 2 or 3 years in the military after they graduate from high school.
Wow.
And you see military everywhere. I'm talking about on
Is
the
that
streets
mandatory?
with machine guns. Mandatory. You could, if you go to college, you can break it down for 1 year. It's a couple of extra things you can do to shorten your time, but I believe that is
they gotta do it.
They have to do it. You have to serve the military, and you see them everywhere. And you cannot take photos anywhere you see pictures with military, and they have machine guns and stuff. You cannot take, and because let me tell you something, you get your bus pulled over, and and you don't want that type of smoke with you.
And get your cop clean.
Yeah, they'll take your phone and they delete it. They know how to work their phones too. Hey, because like you can't take a selfie in Cairo. Because it'll be a brother to my brother, we the same color, brother from another mother. I take photo for you. Man, they'll take your photo, switch it back around off a selfie, have you in poses, popped off about 10 photos of you. They'll put some stuff around your head and on your wrist and in your hand.
Oh,
and then they'd be like, $5, my brother. So, everybody knows. Man, they good with the camera, man. Hey, let me tell you, dude fixed my hat. He said, oh, no, I like the... Because, I went on YouTube and figured out, like, 5 ways to tie my shemagh, how to...
Right.
Dude was like, no, you want Bedouin style. Boom, boom. Man, he done tied my head, put the cool thing on it, done put a OG Moses staff.
He put the stank on it.
But at the same time, he put a Moses staff in my hand. Next thing you know, I had a camel leash in my hand. I was about to get on the camel. They was like, whoa, chill, slow down, bro. I'm like, man, he just was retying my hair. Next thing you know, I was, on a camel. And he wanted $5. And he popped off about 17 pictures of the whole process in like 2 seconds.
Wow.
But yeah, man, it's an experience. Yeah, Cairo's the hustle, bro. But it's exciting.
It's very exciting. It sounds like the Black journalists, we should go over there in October with y'all, man.
Let's take a trip to Kemet. Yeah, man,
I'm game.
Here we go. We got one.
Right. So I wish that I was over there with you, and I saw the pictures, and it looked lovely over there. Even though it looked like there was a lot of sand, but it looked lovely.
Hey, bro, let me tell you something. Outside of the Nile, it is on the banks of the Nile, the East Bank and the West Bank. It's like flats. The East Bank and the West Bank and the East Bank of the Nile. It is the soil is beautiful. The growth, you see different birds and different animal species, and you see them living on parts of the Nile like they did, back millennia ago. You see cats out there fishing, and but outside of the Nile is desert.
Right.
It's desert. The majority of Egypt is desert. I still got desert sand and temple dust on my rock quartz.
Not the rock quartz.
And my rock quartz left out real fly to Cleveland. I went to DSW, got them rock quartz. Man, them rock quartz. My rock quartz look like Indiana Jones boots.
Hey. So okay. I'm a foodie. Everybody's a foodie. How was the food there?
Food is delicious, but see, remember rule number. Okay, I said rule number 1.
Don't drink the water.
Okay, but I'm gonna change that. That's rule number 1B.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 1A is do not get sick. So that's rule number 1. Do not get sick. So 1B is don't drink the water. But the food the food has so many different looks and flavors and spices. It's incredible. Now, I didn't eat everything because you never know when they didn't try to slip you some camel meat or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, I stayed with like my rice and my chicken that I knew what it was.
It's what's safe.
It's what's safe. But, they have lots of different things to eat. But I'm going to tell you what, the juices, the juices, the juices are the truth, man. The papaya juices, the strawberry, the guava, that's the real deal. And it's like thick. Like they the old women be stomping on the grapes making the wine.
Yeah.
I think they back there putting their feet
stomping on the papayas,
man. Man, it's thick. It's you go to drink and you still be having like papaya pulp hanging from your mouth in the glass.
Do you eat with your hands over there?
Some people do. But I'm eating chicken and rice, so I was rocking with my fork. But depending on what you eat, they do have some things that you kind of just mash together and go hand to mouth. But yeah, it's the food, the looks and smells of when you're in the marketplace. is something that it was something foreign to me.
No, what did you have for breakfast?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, this is another cool thing. You know, because they have their honey is special over there because they have those Egyptian bees.
Yeah.
So they're serving the honey. You see, like the whole honeycomb. They done brought the whole honeycomb to the serving table,
And they just slopping it off
and
for you.
it's dripping. They have it in this type of container where you can see the honeycomb is strapped to this metal flat plate, and it drips down, and then the actual honey. Man, it's delicious. And I was asking. I said, I need some of that honey because I came with Ziploc bags, right?
Now I'm doing
they
a
was
grandma.
like, Jill, where'd you get them Ziploc? I was like, CVS on Lee and Harvard. I got these Ziploc bags with me. But I'm like, man, break off a piece of that honeycomb of the Egyptian honey, not just the honey, but in its natural form.
In the state, yeah.
I brought some of that back with me. But for breakfast, they have, your regular breakfast items. They're over there making omelets, and they have
This. I'm gonna say that right there. There's a difference between making an omelet here in Lee and Harvard, getting the stuff from David Save-A-Lot, and having fresh stuff.
Oh man, you know what? Because I see in Cairo, different parts of Cairo. Matter of fact, all over a lot of the rural Egypt, you see chickens just running around in the streets. And so I'm sure them chickens is laying eggs, and they got some fresh poultry.
Yeah, you probably got an egg that was just fresh dropped and got put in the pan.
Got it right out there. Scramble it up, boom, omelet. Yeah. So and the things they put in the omelet. So yeah, but you see some things out there laid out for breakfast that I didn't even know what they were. So I didn't even really mess with it.
You didn't mess with it.
So,
You didn't ask?
Don't ask. No questions.
Hey, if you have
You say I don't know what it resembles. I'm not eating it.
if you ask them a question, they might charge you $1.
That
$1 for the extra.
That's $20.
Well, no, they don't tell you beforehand. They tell you afterwards. They'll give you the information, and they'll be like, $1, my brother. Like I provided that service. But yeah, it was a lot of things that they had that I didn't know what they were, and I watched some other people eat it because also I have some allergies. I have peanut allergies. And, a lot of times they cook with
peanut oil like or something like that.
So I kind of had to keep it simple, but I balled out on the juices, and man, and my boy Clarence, I talked to him today. He said, "Chill, did you bring back some spices? Did you bring back some recipes?" I'm like, that was something nobody ever asked me. They was like, "Chill, bring me back something," but nobody said bring back some recipes.
I mean, the thing about it is that when you have the spices and stuff like that are totally different. We know that, and it's fresher because
they're not processed like they are here,
like they do here. So the spices, like you might get some salt, you can get some salt here. Okay, this is some good salt. I got it from maybe Family Dollar, whatever, on the cheap side.
They didn't got
but they got the Egyptian spices. You like, I ain't never put nothing else but this on my food ever. Like you put some Egyptian spices on some fried chicken.
Oh yeah, man! They got the blue temple spice jumping off over there. But that remind me, my actual I said that my favorite place was Elephantine with the blackity black folks. But over there, they even had what they called a Nubian village where they had Nubian spices. And I'm sure I took a photo of it. So it's just a big, giant rack of jars of all kinds of things you can't even read or pronounce. And that they look, that it tastes good when you put it in the food.
You can't.
Did you bring any back?
I did not. You know what?
What in the world?
Could you have brought some back?
Let me tell you something. Like I told my man Clarence, shout out to my man Clarence Merriweather. One of the dopest graphic designers in the city. But like I told him when I left, people were like, "Chill, bring me some sand, bring me some rocks from the pyramids, bring me some, people wanted stuff like that. Bring me some because they, Egypt also has their own gold. They have, of course, it's the land of gold.
Right.
And that's why all those ancient Egyptian things were covered in gold. There's gold all over the place.
Yeah, they probably had gold toilet.
And so, they like, can you bring back something gold? Can you bring back some sand? Can you bring back something in stone? all kinds of whatever artifacts. Could you know? But I didn't think that to bring back spices. But you know
what?
some
Did
of
you
us
bring
did go
back
to-
sand and all that?
Say that again?
Did you bring any of that back?
Yeah, I brought back rocks.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I'm by the pyramid. I'm by the Sphinx. I'm by the step pyramid.
I'll take a rock.
And it's rocks. And I picked
take
up a
a
rock,
grand-
put it in my pocket.
A grain of sand.
Yeah, so people ask for rocks, and there's another thing, Larry. Man, I must have saw maybe easily 75 people fall and bust their heads, because when you walking by those pyramids, those old structures, it's that ground that you're walking on. Not only may it be sacred ground, but it's the hardest stone known to man. It's granite. It's uneven. It'll drop off to a little ledge. It got big, giant East Cleveland potholes in the mud.
we go. You know what? On that note, shout out to Delvis Valentine of the Sports Show. We watching. We're gonna take a break. A tribute to Jay Dilla. When we come back, we're going to talk to the old school hip hop artists about there's certain hip hop artists that with the initials YE. When we come back on the headline on Nerve DJs on WNRV1081.com. We get on your nerves. We'll be right back.
Get on them nerves.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, Larry. I missed all the Kanye drama.
You missed it all because you was over there in Egypt.
I came back and it was like,
they done
kicked. So I really missed. I missed them. I'm just catching up.
I mean, anti-Semitism. He was talking about DEFCON 3 for the Jews. He said the Jews own everything, pretty much. All his endorsements.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching.
He said when he's on Drink Champs with Nori.
With Nori.
He was talking about the George Floyd, like the cop didn't kill him, but the fentanyl did.
Right. So when I got back and I tried to, they had taken it off. Nori had taken it down.
Yeah.
He was on LeBron's podcast, but because Kanye went crazy about the Jews, they took that off. They never aired that episode. Ever.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't, man. Yeah.
He always pushing somebody button somewhere. But see, that's the thing. It's like he say what he mean and he mean what he say, even though it come off a little crazy to people.
Some people call him a genius for what he said. He got out of the contracts.
And he does. That
he
got
calls
some
himself
money.
a genius, and then you got other people.
Hey man, that bro made $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
$1 billion. So,
he basically bringing it back to this. Okay, well, the Jews done got they paid out.
Well,
for the Holocaust, the Indians done got they paid out.
After all his endorsements, he's worth $400 million. Okay, whatever.
Well, he worth billions, I'm sure.
After they dropped him, but I'm saying, but he rose to the level of $1 billion that rarely any of us have ever attained.
Yeah.
Now, whatever foolishness, I as a journalist, Larry, I'm not comfortable until I catch up all the way with
what the current events are,
with what was said, especially when you're talking about a fire topic like that. I'm gonna need to know what that man said, because Kanye is in bad need of some advice.
Yeah.
I wish he had people.
He don't have people surrounding him that is.
He don't have the type of people that he's listening to. They would probably, to give him some instructions on what to say and what not to say,
and how to say it. So that
the problem and the thing about it is like when you have money, you're gonna have a whole bunch of yes men with their hands out.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah,
and the thing about it is like it's okay to say no matter how he feels about it. I mean, unless you're depending on him solely for your income. Now that he's dropped, he's going to have to let go of some consultants because, he's worth $400 million. He said he can liquidate himself as far as cash, $140 million.
Right.
But you had Chase and Bank of America and everybody else dropping.
Right. Well, you got when you in that type of spotlight, you got to watch what you saying to people. You know what I mean? And how you say it.
We talking about her. We talking about him.
It'd be nice to finally hear the truth.
But we're not talking about Brittany Griner.
Attorney or mechanic, would you take it? I'm talking about Bridget.
That's the main. Here's the
Throw
thing.
them up. Let me see.
And our Caucasian counterparts. I'm affiliated with a
We ain't talking about Brittany.
financial institution.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with that.
76 years. You do the math.
Ye gonna do what he gonna. Kanye gonna do what he gonna.
Always have.
But we're not talking about African American woman representing the LGBTQIA who is being held by Russia as being a political prisoner for some weed.
No, but not. It wasn't even weed. It was like a pen or something.
The residue.
It was a.
Residue.
That's what they say,
But it was like a.
packages. You don't know what was in the packages.
But that's from what I understand. It
a
was.
whole bunch of packages.
But I heard it was the oil. It wasn't actual marijuana that you pull off a plant and smoke.
They let her.
They want people.
somebody in exchange for her.
Right, exactly. They want people that we got here for her
And she is caught up in
Yeah, they want some
because of her fame. Yeah.
In the Ukraine war, I'm gonna get back. All right, this is. Oh yeah, this is Diggy Simmons. Diggy. And they did something that I picked up this song. I was like, this is a nice song.
This is Run DMC son, ain't it?
Yeah, Run son.
Oh, we back again?
Yep.
What you got is a lot. And that's the truth, ain't no need to lie. I'm on the other side, I don't need to die. I've been getting blessings, I ain't even tried. Took a break and they mistaken for demise. Looking dead at you, better look alive. What you mad at? This a glad rap. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, never play yourself, pay yourself. It is what it is. Go ahead, do it big. It is what it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting on you.
Yeah. Never play yourself, pay yourself. It is what it is.
All right, we're back on the Headline Eye on Nerd DJs, and yes, I got Shirley Jackson in the building, and also the king of Cleveland hip hop, Kevin MC Chill.
Talk to me. I ain't got a microphone. There you go. Talk to me, people.
Right. So talk to me, Cleveland.
Talk to me, Cleveland.
The world traveler, MC Chill, is back. And shout out to everybody who was listening on the first part. So I'm going to ask a question before I go on my rant about Kanye West.
Diggy was dropping bars?
Yeah, Diggy was actually dropping bars. And I'm gonna give y'all a synopsis of what
I might have to drop some bars now. Diggy. I'm like, okay, Diggy. All right, go ahead, Larry.
That's Ron, son. That's Ron, son. And
They got the hookup automatically from Birthright.
Didn't you work with Run DMC?
Yeah, obviously I did shows with Run and them, and not just in Cleveland. I did shows with Run and them in New York and other places, and definitely did stuff with Russell, Uncle Russell Rush, and yeah, man, Run and them, man, those my guys, man. They gave me a shot when I opened up on the Raising Hell tour. At that time was the biggest, largest rap tour that had ever been. And Run and them gave me that shot. And so big ups to them and Russell and everybody that was involved with them. And I still get down with Jason, Jam Master Jay's son, who is here a lot. And we've actually talked about collaborating on doing some shows with the son of Jam Master Jay, Jam Master Jay's son, Jason Mizell Jr.
That's what's up.
So
Rip Jam Master Jay. Rest in peace, man.
Queen, stand up. But yeah, so we I worked with his pops, and now I'm going. We're talking about him and I doing some stuff together.
Right. So I'm gonna get you up on speed. And I know you've been in Egypt, so you hadn't heard about the Kanye stuff. Endorsements dropping him because of some anti-Semitic and some other things he said, but they didn't drop him when he said that slavery was a choice. So if you were Kanye's manager, I'm not doing a yay thing. I can't. If you were his manager or if you were an advisor of him,
what was it like with all the stuff that's happening with him? And we know about the divorce. You know, his mom passed years ago. The divorce with Kim Kardashian, him going after Kim about his kids. You know, his 4 children they had together when they were married. Pete Davidson talking about, you know, heard that somewhere that Kanye talked about Pete Davidson's lower region.
Oh man, that's a violation.
All right. Like, so what would you tell him to stop the madness? I mean, everybody's calling him a genius. I think that you said Imhotep was a genius.
That's a real genius.
Right. So what would you tell Kanye as a student of the game and as an OG of the game? What would you tell him, man, and his advice?
For real, man, Kanye, I would talk to Ye as a big brother. It's nothing I could tell Kanye about the industry because he has been so successful in the music industry on a level that very few of us have ever been. So it's nothing to really tell Ye about that. But just about how dealing with the public and even, you know, and in a lot of instances dealing with his life, he needs an OG bad, man. He needs a big brother bad. As bad as he needs a public relations manager about what he goes out and talks about topical things. Man, I feel bad for him. It's hard for me to feel bad for a billionaire. But as a young brother in hip hop, I look at all cats that came after me in this craft as my little brothers or my nephews, nieces and nephews, not just the men but the women too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that Yeezy really needs to just sit down with somebody and to talk things out about his life. I don't think he's ever still gotten it. Closure with the death of his mom.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah,
he's been in traumatic car accidents where he's almost lost his life.
Right.
And I think it has his life, his mental stability is just spiraling. But I think sometimes that mental instability is where that line between genius and insanity lies. Sometimes it makes your creative side, it takes it to a higher level, but you suffer on the other side, on the day-to-day activities, your family life, how you deal politically, socially, what things you should say and should not say. And I really think that anybody talking about our social construct, our social political structure, and I'll tell this to anybody, not just Kanye, to know what the hell you talking about,
right?
Before you just go out and if you got facts,
and bumping your guns,
have your facts,
exactly.
Have some receipts,
yeah.
You know, be able to back up, you know, before you act up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I would love to.
Could you say that louder for the people in the back? Get your facts straight.
Get your facts straight. Have receipts. Have some backup before you act up.
Have some backup before you act up. Put that on a shirt. I swear to God, you sell it. And I would buy one. I would buy for $1. For $1.
$1.
But when you drop, like, that's a jewel knowledge that you drop. But you still have, this is my problem. Just like with the Trump supporters, you got the yes man, yesing everything that he does, especially on social media, because that's what was fit on my timeline yesterday. Like, the thing about it is, and you know, you and I off air, we have these come to Jesus meetings when things getting on my damn nerves, and I call you, and you like, and you give me the real.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's what Ye needs. And I'm sure it's people there for him, but he's probably burned a lot of those bridges because, you know, when you have access to Jay-Z, like, you know, Hov ain't out here talking crazy like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I think he lost his mind when his mama died, though.
It is,
and then he feeling probably like that wasn't necessary because she had a surgery that wasn't necessary. It was just, you know, for her vanity.
Lipo with your money.
Hello.
Right. So, looking like Michael with your money. So, and the thing about it is, like, And we picked up a lot of stuff, like a lot of lyrics that he said and produced a lot of hits and stuff like that for Jay-Z, Rockefeller, and others. And he's dropped a lot of hits, College Dropout, things of that nature. Now he's just known, and some people are calling him a genius. What do you think about people trying to call him a genius, validating the stuff that he's doing?
I mean, now to call Ye a genius under the light of right now seems absurd. When they first started saying it, I don't think it can be argued that his body of work and the music that he has produced and the hits that he has put his hands on have been top level. Genius. No. I leave that for other people to say. But again, Larry, I'll tell you, there is a line, a very thin line between genius and insanity.
Insanity, yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are the most creatively intelligent, some dare say genius, who are crazy as all hell. And
nuts.
Right.
And I think that he falls in that category. Would I call him a genius? No, because I know too many people, scholars and artists and craftsmen who do genius level work. But again, that brother has reached a plateau that not a lot of recording artists have done.
There's only a couple of them, and one is supposedly his big brother, who is absent with all this stuff going on. Jay-Z, Mr. Carter, Beyonce's husband, is actually absent.
He don't want to get involved in that mess.
Hey man, y'all ain't gonna get my man Hov dropped from nothing.
Right, he said,
I need my paper.
Right, I got Beyonce and these kids, and when you got Blue Ivy trying to do auctions at 10 years old, trying to bid on paintings of like $20,000. Yeah, you can't. No.
Hey man, and Hov, did you hear that? Okay, you heard the Khaled, DJ Khaled.
God did. Yeah,
man. I don't know what the hell anybody else was saying on that, but Hov killed it.
Yeah, he did.
That one bar when he said God did something about nobody touched a Billy until Hov did.
Right.
How many billionaires came out of Hov's crib?
Yeah.
He said something like me. Ye, Reed, and actually, Ron was with The Rock, so that's 4 actually. Man, that bar was nuts. But, yeah, man, Hov ain't messing with that foolishness, man.
Right, he's not.
He's staying all the way out the way.
But hopefully he is trying to reach out to him behind the scenes. Because like you said, Larry, during times that you've contacted me, we're not on the radio. I'm not making public things. You're not like, chill, I need, we done talked one-on-one.
Right, exactly.
So.
And the thing about it is, like, especially during the times where, in the journalism business, you always need that mentor. I consider Chill a mentor because the stuff that I was going through in the business wise, and sometimes even personal business wise, getting those misconstrued, I had a chance to talk to him. You and Harry Boomer, shout out to him.
Man.
So you gotta do that. So as Troy Harris said, Hov and Kanye fell out. I'm not surprised. Shayla, you want to say something about what's going on with Kanye before I give my rant? Yeah. I'm gonna give my rant. I'm gonna give my rant.
Nah, I really don't have much to say about Kanye. Kanye, he come back and forth. He go out the picture for a minute, and then he be cool, he be smooth. Then he come back in with some crazy shit. You know what I mean?
So,
I'm just saying, he is very talented. He's a very talented brother, and I just, like I said earlier, I think he lost his everlasting mind when his mother passed away.
Right.
But who does not?
Right.
When something like that happens, and that's all I got to say, baby.
All right, so let me go on my rant right now.
Okay.
We gonna talk about this. Okay. Shout out to Heather. The problem is they're using psychosis and genius interchangeably musically, sure. But for bigotry that supports white supremacy and anti-Semitism, no. I think they haven't talked with each other for over a year, Troy Harris says. So let me just explain to you guys what my take on Mr. West is. Through the years, I've seen people deteriorate over one word and one word only, heartbroken. Now, the thing about it is Kanye West is not a genius to me because I know geniuses. Chill knows geniuses. I think Chill's a genius. I think that people that create their own platforms are a genius. I think Johnny O's a genius. I think Errol Porter's a genius. I think that everybody who created their own platform, who had the determination and the know-how to create their own platform is a genius. Kanye West, yeah, sure. He got to deal with Adidas, with the Yeezys. But you know who also got to deal with Adidas and the Yeezys? Let me see. Chill just said it. He was on a Raising Hell tour with Run DMC. Run DMC was the first hip-hop artist I know that got to deal with a shoe company without playing a sport. So they were geniuses. Russell Simmons is a genius. Kanye just followed suit. Now, the thing about it is like I like at this. What I'm hearing from you, shout out to Christopher McNeil, the Kanye stance, is that you want to praise this brother for something that's already been done. All he did was follow the blueprint. Shout out to his big brother, Jay-Z, the one he calls his big brother. The blueprint. The thing about it is that he followed the blueprint and he followed it to a T. Remember what Hov said and God did. 4 millionaires came out of Hov crib. Kanye was one of them. He followed that particular blueprint. Now he's just losing his mind because he's heartbroken. No man ever wants to lose his household, especially to another man. Especially seeing Kim do what she did. And then remember, he was $50 million in the hole while he was married to the Kardashian clan before he was asking Mark Zuckerberg, the creator and owner of Facebook, for a loan for his Yeezy clothing line. Now, the thing about it is like, if I'm a genius if he's a genius for getting all his contracts dropped and everything else like that, I'm a genius for getting fired from my jobs, for not taking it no more from the man or just walking away, terminating my contract. Because if you don't show up to work, if you don't show up to your job or your career and they decide to terminate, they can terminate your contract. So everybody who got fired is a genius because they terminated their contract by either not showing up to work or doing a piss poor job at work.
Right.
So the thing about it is that, I'm a genius because I juggle 2 shows every single week. So the thing about it is like, we're using the word genius too loosely here. The word genius is supposed to be somebody that innovated the world with a mindset and something that changed the world, that made it for the better for the people. When Kanye West talked about slavery was a choice, and he said Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, that was an insult to African American people. But the thing about it is, yes, those companies didn't drop Kanye because he said slavery was a choice, because some African American people supported him like they did R. Kelly. And you know how I feel about R. Kelly, old nasty ass. So, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm saying this in front of you. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't think Kanye West is a genius. I think the man is heartbroken because he's trying to overcome. Remember, he lost his mother years ago. He just lost his marriage a couple of months ago. And he's been online saying stuff about Kim, saying she won't let me see my children. Even though you have the ability, unlike any other people, to see your children because you bought a house next to your ex-wife. So
say that.
Let me just say this about the whole thing about Kanye. For all you stans that were Kanye stans that are following him, this is how cults get started. Let me see, there was a cult, the Koreshes and stuff like that. This is how cults get started, because you want to keep drinking the Kool-Aid about somebody that really doesn't care about you. And you want to follow it, and you want to follow this man's platform to the point of where you're arguing with other people, just like people were arguing about how R. Kelly did not commit these crimes of child pornography and abusing young girls. Really? Stop it. I understand. Just like Kanye does not have the power to change laws, does not have the power to put you in jail. And the thing about it is, okay, the Yeezys may be comfortable. I never bought a pair. Too expensive for me. The thing about it is that when
And I can admit to say it because I'm too busy investing in these shows, making sure that I invest in African-American stations, putting my money in the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists as far as their dues are concerned, putting my money where African-Americans shop at, putting people on shows that want to help community, like the young lady I had last week and the head of the presidency of the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists, Kevin MC Chilher, right now, and other people in the future. I'm too busy investing in food, feeding politicians that are trying to change the world, interviewing future mayors like Mayor Justin Bibb and future and future people who are running for Cuyahoga County Executive, future judges that have been on my show, past, present, and certainly in the future. I've been doing this for 7 damn years. And the thing about it is that all this stuff that y'all talking about, Kanye being a billionaire, now he's a millionaire because of all his endorsements, Belinga, Adidas, and stuff like that. It is Kanye's choice to say what he wants. But the thing about it is, when you attack Jews and say the anti-Semitism things that you want to say, whatever you say, just like I say, has consequences. And those consequences are those companies have their choice. They have their choice of dropping him as being the face of whatever brand that he has on. So the thing about it is, before you come at me, look at yourselves and say this. Are you getting paid from Kanye West? Are you getting a check from Ye? Are you getting paid from good music? By the way, Def Jam cut good music off too.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown and Sam Darnold, who were a part of Donda Sports, have cut ties with Kanye West. Now, Antonio Brown is still there. We all know Antonio Brown is a little couple of cards short from the deck by picking with Tom Brady and Gisele when they're going through this divorce. So let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's stop putting... What did Malcolm X say about entertainers? Do not put them on a pedestal. This is what happens when you put somebody that cannot make any laws, cannot create anything, or create any chance. By the way, and I'm not hating on this man, I can say this about anybody. His clothing line sucks. It looks like it's all poor people. So I mean, I'm just saying. And from making this down is like a question. What did the U.S. government do to Ye and Ronald Reagan when they were UCLA where they performed multicultural government now trying to find out students who hacked the files and gave access to UCLA campus? Listen, I'll find that out later. But the thing about it is, like I said, have you seen the clothing line? Listen, I'm not, if I want to put on a torn hoodie, I'm going to Goodwill. I'm not paying $1,500 for a hoodie. I'm sorry. Now, if Kanye wants to invest in African-American people and build schools and stuff like that, that's fine. But here's the problem with here's my problem with that, and I just got shared with you. I'm laughing like this is what happens already. So listen, I'm gonna say this about Mr. West, Mr. Ye, whatever he want to call himself, changing his name. If you want to help African American people, first of all, please stop wearing shirts that say "White Lives Matter." All right, we're gonna go to break. We're gonna be right back with MC Chill, and hopefully Shayla can stop laughing
at some point.
So we'll be right back. This is J. Cole. This is J. Cole with Missy Elliott. We'll be right back on WNRV1081.com.
He said if he want a torn up hoodie, he can go to the Goodwill. Not buy one for $15,000.
I gotta go bathroom.
Nice one, Larry. That's nice.
But am I not lying?
All facts. All facts.
It was time to go to break on that one, T-Rex. But how much did that game store like cost? I don't know. I don't know it's popular. You ain't know it was popular? Yeah, I just know it was popular. Right. It wasn't. Man, you gotta pay like $800 for some OnlyFans, man.
I can't hate on Ye. I mean, I agree with some of the things he said. I disagree with some of the things. I'm a Kanye fan, so
you can be a fan of he ain't did no wrong. He just said some stupid things. I'm not gonna hate on the Jews.
Yeah, that's asking for a problem.
That's asking for a problem. That's asking for more of a problem, right?
But basically, like once you watch the interview, what he's saying is right. If you talk about a dude, this gonna happen if you do this.
Yeah, okay.
And it shouldn't be like that though.
And he did it.
I know, but he was just to prove a point.
He proved it.
Why isn't it this much? Why isn't it this much when we talking about when we hate on black people?
Our culture is not built like that right now.
That's what I'm saying. Let's watch the interview. That's what he said.
Our culture ain't built like that.
When you prove everybody right.
At his own demise.
Yeah.
He had me dying. Oh. Hey, I'm Boogie. Hey, Celeste. I hope y'all enjoying the show.
Hey,
Chill says hi. and Beverly. Latasha Jenkins. Hi, baby. How y'all all doing? I hope y'all enjoying the show. I'm dying here. He had me. I had to go to the bathroom. He had me dying crying.
Anybody want some water? I'm good. Chill.
No, I'm good. I got the water right here. I'm good.
Yeah, I gave him a water. Look, I'm drinking water out there. Look, that's why I had to go to the bathroom. I'm drinking water. Keep my throat lubricated.
Yo, bro, you read my mind.
We need to do Cairo, y'all. Let's go to Egypt.
Hey, mess around and drink that water in Cairo. You don't want that. Man, there was some people that went with us that we had to call the doctor. They needed IV, water, food. They want mostly water. That's the problem.
So what? You think about going to Egypt, T-Rex?
I want to go to Israel too.
This is the Human T-Rex. Check out my show every Wednesday, 9 p.m.
I want to go to Ethiopia.
Yeah, well, you're not that far from,
I just found Ethiopia one of the countries that never got
This is
colonized.
Sarah Peary asking you to tune in every Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, but that's, at some point in time, some of that was because they did that deal with Mussolini.
Yep. Now I get why the Ethiopians and the Eritreans act like that.
Wouldn't it be nice to put the financial... Oh, you've been checking out the cabs?
So many TikToks out there.
I caught some of the
Spider have been averaging like 30 points a game. I'm
affiliated
You know what?
with 100 AAA-rated financial institutions.
You can't do. You gotta forewarn me if you doing some. That shit had me
I said
dying.
I was doing my dialogue, and this is your first time dealing with me on the radio.
On the radio, yeah.
So I keep it real, raw, and uncut.
Me too, but that was like I was caught off our guard with that, cause I keep it 100. I'm straight like I like my liquor, straight up. This is the girl that was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get invited back again. Do some more radio.
Come back on.
All right, we back on. Mary J.
Mary.
Yes.
My girl.
God is together.
You are my destiny.
Shorty, you care for me anytime you need me. For real, girl, it's me, you know real. Believe me, nothing make a man feel better than a woman. You wear the crown and be down for whatever. There were a few things that forever. My lady, we can make more and make babies. Back when I was young,
So wait, high school was Marshall was when?
No front.
You did Marshall on the 9th grade?
Huh?
I'm talking about how long we've been knowing each other. That was the 9th grade, Marshall?
I think so.
Okay. Long time.
Thousands of kids.
Be my wife. Be living in the everlasting luxury. I'm realizing that you didn't have to fuck with me. When
And I got mad love for you. Woo! That's some real. That's that meth man.
That's one of my. This is my number one hip hop R&B collab.
Oh, Mary and Method Man.
Yeah.
I took
I like Nas If I Rule the World.
With Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, but she was just. Mary is doing something. Lauren was just going. Ooh. Right. Well, she ain't. You know.
Both of them got no messages.
Ain't nobody mess with Mary
For your
though.
body and your skin tone. It's alone. I'm already on the phone.
Mary had a couple of collabs.
The one person that can mess with her is in her grave, and that's Aretha Franklin, baby.
I
That's
listen
it.
to Sade over Mary J.
Why you gonna mention my wife? Lisa,
You know, I don't really normally stand for nobody disrespecting Mary J in my presence.
no, the thing about it is, like, I love Sade. Smooth Operator, Sweetest Taboo.
Yeah. Sade or Mary?
I can't. This is time.
Okay,
It's a bust.
Man,
That's a good debate, though.
It's a very good debate. I would hate this for them to do a versus. I would hate for them to do a versus. I don't think they would never do a versus against each other, but I would hate it. I would not want to see it because Sade was a part of my younger years. My mother, my
Great
father.
people don't put out a lot of albums. Take a lot of work.
My father and my mother got me interested in Sade, and then when I grew up as a teenager, I listened to Mary J. So it was hard. So it was a part of my life that these two women were part of. Sade in my younger years and Mary J. Blige.
Me too, but still,
Because Mary more hip hop than anything.
but she could do anything she wanted to. Be honest.
Right.
Sade was that smooth operator. Yeah, that was her.
Hey.
And that big ass forehead.
Go ahead, forehead.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, we
Okay.
about to come back on.
You see my girl Mary. You see me.
I see Mary.
I would love to meet
You
her
see
one
me
day. She
there.
seemed like a sweet person every time I see her. Okay, time back on the
Right,
road.
we back.
We back.
On the headline, that was Mary J. Blige with Method Man.
Queen.
The queen
the
of hip
queen.
hop. Me and Jill was having a debate about Mary J. Blige. T-Rex fought about Mary J. Blige and Sade. Everybody knows I love some Sade.
Sade.
I ain't love her. He even know how to say
Sade. Hey, whatever. But I'm just grateful that they never did a versus. I'm grateful that they never did a versus. Period. Because I would be so mad at
Mary
myself.
J. Blige beat up smack.
Hey,
Sade and her big forehead.
Believe me, Sade.
Go ahead, forehead.
Sade alone. Leave her alone. But stop. But
That's why she be rocking that ponytail.
hey, that ponytail is light.
Weight balance of that.
That ponytail light.
Forehead.
Right. But speaking of women, and by the way, this is the last part of Domestic Violence Month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm glad I have Miss Shayla Jackson here. Shayla, how are you enjoying the show so far? Because on my rant, you almost
I
laughed.
swear to God, you had me like I had to almost get up and leave out of here. You had me laughing so hard I was crying. He not, but I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean?
Stop dissing me, man. I know your show on at 9 o'clock.
No, you cool.
But I know it's a comedy show too. Right, it is a comedy show. But we got to get something serious. Now, as a journalist, I know you've been following the Brittany Griner story, correct?
Yes.
So you know that her appeal was denied a couple of days ago, and everybody's up in arms about it. You know, the Golden State Warriors, when they got their ring, Steph Curry said free Brittany Griner. And that was before her appeal was denied. Now, there's somebody that the United States is holding that they want, and he's pretty much
To somebody.
and they're both dangerous. I think they're like MacGyver. They can make bombs out of anything. Like this could be a bomb.
Right.
So, do you think that Brittany Griner is a political prisoner right now because of the Russia-Ukraine war?
I do believe, and I do have to say, without all the receipts, but just from the information that I have gathered thus far, I do believe that she is being used as a political toy on the world stage. Anything that they can use against the United States of America, I believe, will be used and is being used unfortunately, in Brittany Griner's circumstance. She's somebody that is known throughout the United States. She has high profile, and unfortunately, she got caught up in some things while over in Russia that they were able to use against her and against the United States.
Even her, and Brittany Griner is LGBTQIA. That's the lesbian, gay, transgender community. And her wife, who is studying law right now to help Brittany, free Brittany, is saying that because she's a lesbian woman and Russia doesn't like that she's also being punished because anybody else, a year tops for the same crime that she's being punished for. She's like it's 9 years. And she's a WNBA player. And it's 9 years. So, as far as professionally, if you spend 9 years somewhere locked up, then that takes away from your playing value. And Brittany Griner, I don't know if she's in her 20s or 30s.
No, she ain't in her 20s.
She's not gonna do 9 years.
They just want them two people back.
They're using it as a political tool, toy. So they're gonna do what they can do to exemplify just what's going on between Russia and the United States and United States affinity to the struggles that the Ukrainians are going through against Russia. And it's just being played out on the political stage. Unfortunately, like I said, Brittany just got caught up in that. But I doubt very seriously if she will do anywhere near 9 years. I don't see this playing out but for a little while longer.
I hope so, because we know these are the midterm elections, and you and I, we all talk about, everybody needs to go vote. So what do you think it's going to do for the midterm elections? Because Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets said, Joe Biden, do your job and help Brittany Griner get released. What do you think about Kyrie Irving's comments?
Well, I think as far as Kyrie is concerned, he could actually make the trip to Russia a little quicker, on the flat Earth theory.
Flat Earth theory.
Because he don't have to deal with the curvature of the Earth.
He said because the Earth is round.
He can just go stay there. But I'm not. Kyrie. What I'm hesitant because Kyrie picks and chooses what he's talking about and what he's not talking about, and I haven't agreed on a lot of the things that Kyrie has said recently, especially when it comes to, my stance as far as the vaccine and the virus and
get vaccinated.
And Kyrie said some things that just aren't scientifically and medically sound. So I don't look for Kyrie to be my spokesman on this. Right. Now, if he stands up and he's stepping up for Brittany, that's cool. But again, we know that this is far beyond sports. This is political intrigue at its highest level, and I don't even know if the midterm elections, how this will weigh on Brittany's. And you hate to see somebody caught up in a political struggle to be used as a political volleyball. But because like I said, I've traveled places. My family has traveled places. My children has traveled places out of this country, and you just really hate to see someone who has nothing to do with politics caught up in a political situation. I mean,
right.
So, I don't know how this is going to play out as far as the presidential, or the midterm elections. Governors. I don't see it really weighing on that. But it is a part of the political agenda that is, I think, is going to be dealt with probably behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But we'll see in the upcoming months what happens to Brittany.
So speaking of upcoming months, Stacey Abrams is doing her thing in Georgia.
And we have, and also, we're going to talk about LeBron. LeBron also said some things about what's going on as far as that. And he's also, even though the Lakers are struggling this year, he's on board to passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as far as the points. So what do you think about, before we get back into the political thing, what do you think about LeBron passing Kareem?
Well, first of all, we all know that LeBron, when you look at how many assists LeBron has had,
Hello.
and I mean LeBron could have been much closer to that, and will inevitably pass that as one of the greatest scorers. Just for one, because of longevity.
Right.
Of
20 years. It's 20 years. Yeah, like 20 minutes of basketball, I'm done. They're like,
yeah, no, man. But as somebody who spent the majority of their career as a pass-first player, if LeBron was looking to score, man, LeBron could have averaged 40 points if he wanted to.
Right.
But he also, I'll be interested to see where he is. He has to be in the top 10 of all-time assists, I'm sure.
Right.
Without looking at, and lots of times when you see people who have a high level of assists, career assists, they often are nowhere near the career points.
Right.
But this is somebody that is going to be, in both. So, yeah, big up to LeBron.
Yeah, big up to
from Ohio.
LeBron. Okay. So Heather said it's a war of superpower, not even Ukraine. The experts have said Putin has no satisfaction out of anything anymore. Money, power, nor influence. Now all he wants is to make people suffer because he can and will control the world. It's an absolute hint of a God complex with Putin. So if y'all worried about Kanye being this way and that way, we got to worry about these. Putin's got power and influence. Old KGB man. What do you think about Vladimir and his stance over there in Russia?
Well, I think he has always made it no secret on his quest for power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he had a good opportunity to get back in the game under the Trump administration.
Right.
He was able to manipulate a president of the United States in ways that probably have never, ever been done by a foreign entity. And I think that put Putin back on the world stage, put him back in the game. It emboldened him. In just his moves in Ukraine, Crimea has just shown that he's not letting up the gas. But yeah, man, people know who Putin is. They always have known who he was. And as a head of the KGB, we know that he has the capabilities behind the scenes to make things happen. Man, they've had journalists killed.
Right, exactly.
Old school, like powder smoke in their face and they die. Like the old school, James Bond espionage type tactics.
Talcum powder.
Powder. You died, like you suffering, like that anthrax.
Yeah.
Like forget Johnson and Johnson. Johnson Johnson's supposed to do.
They send the old school European woman over there to give you a red lip smoochie, and the next thing you know, you done fell out and died. So,
right. You haven't seen you having resources. Shout out to I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, I mean this is a point where people who are interested in social political affairs on a global scale, this is something to look at. This is a TED Talk straight up lesson on how this stuff breaks down, being played out before the world. So our political science people, or people who are interested in it, do yourself a favor to get up on what's happening, why it's happening, as it unfolds right before us. Right. This is a lesson, a college course happening right in front of us.
We gotta go. Speaking of college courses, we're gonna be back at Tri-C soon.
Yes,
and
November 5th.
November 5th, teaching. And by the way, Shayla Jackson is having a birthday party on November.
All right.
Yes.
At the Mr. Max.
Yes.
On Lee Harvard. So
Lee and Harvard.
Old school stand up Lee and Harvard.
So how was it, how was it, that experience of talking about what you do
Because it was a great experience for me. How was it experience talking about what you did?
Well, I got a chance. I wanted to talk about something else, but Tracy Potts, who helped put this together,
Shout out to Tracy.
who birthed this event, wanted me to talk about hip hop history and how it relates to journalism, and of course, everybody knows I come from a hip hop background.
Right.
And so I was glad to do it. So to be able to talk about hip hop history, because, if you don't know your history, you don't know your future. So I got a chance to talk about the beginnings of what hip hop is, because lots of times we forget, we don't respect the architects because we don't know who the architects are,
Right.
or why it even happened in the first place. So it gave me a chance to talk about the beginnings of hip hop in general, and the beginnings of hip hop in Cleveland, because I was there at the beginnings of hip hop in Cleveland, day one.
Exactly.
And to talk about it to students and to adults was something that I like to do. I taught a class in the summer at Case Western Reserve, talking to the kids about hip hop history, and I look to do more of that. So I look forward to doing that again on November 5th.
So you're the first Cleveland rapper signed to a major. Is that a fact?
Okay, first of all, I'm the first rapper in Cleveland, period.
He said,
Okay. Now that we got
I give you a prompt. I just make sure I didn't mess up.
No, but I get to that. But I do want people, because people, I am Cleveland's first national rap recording artist. Yes, I am.
So you was rapping, what year are we talking?
We're talking about, I dropped Busta's Rhyme in the winter of 85.
Wow, that's dope.
I was 10.
Right.
So in 1985, I am probably the first non-New York rapper to ever chart on Billboard. But I was the first Cleveland rapper with a national record deal. But again, when I say I was there at Cleveland Hip Hop Day One, I'm the first rapper in Cleveland even without a record deal. Nobody was rapping before me. It might have been some people rapping with me.
Right.
But nobody was rapping before me.
Nobody had. How'd you get your deal? How did you get your deal? Everybody talks about, because, we got
Catch the bus to New York.
Right.
I did not catch the bus.
Okay, so how did you, share with us, how did Kevin Hurd become MC Chill and get that national deal? Because now we got these phones, IG, YouTube, and people been, doing their own thing and saying they want to go independent. How did you get your deal?
All right, well, you said, how did I become MC Chill?
Yeah.
So and that's my point. Before I got my record deal in 1985, I was already years in the game. I was already MC Chill. I didn't start rapping the day I got my record deal. So,
How long was you rapping before you got it?
Okay, I heard Rapper's Delight in 1979. Probably 2 weeks later, I had got my rhymes together and was rocking the mic. So, and at that point, me and DJ Cochise, we started this thing together. Because we were both students at Kent State University, we formed a group called the Bomb Squad. The original, before Chuck and them, before PE had the Bomb Squad. We started a group called the Bomb Squad. Me, DJ Cochise, DJ Kid Finesse, MC Wayne G, and we were like Cleveland's first supreme rap group. We were already rocking on the radio. We were already rocking on WDMT Club Style. We were already rocking on WZAK. So before my record deal, I was already known as MC Chill, as one of the preeminent MCs in the city. Yeah, what you got there?
No. The thing about it is, one thing I put up that, and the thing about it is that I remember that when talking to my father, and he remembered you on Lean Harvey and was rocking and everything, and I was a little shorty, and I heard you, I was like, wow, and it was like. It impressed me, like, yeah, man, hip hop. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're the reason I like hip hop to this very day.
Facts.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. That's a Headline Eye exclusive. Here's the reason, because your rhymes, and I'm gonna let you finish the story, but your rhymes are so scientific and you rarely cuss. Your rhymes are so scientific that you had to read a dictionary to figure out what he just said.
Well put together.
Very well put together. I call him. He's like one of the like. If I had to put like the thing about it is like, I had to put him in my top 10 as far as greatest hip hop artists. I had to put you in my top 10. You know,
He's showing out today.
no, I'm not. I'm being honest.
I told artists.
Hey, I told him I brought him a gift back from Egypt, so he ain't got it yet.
Right.
So he
Shut up.
he coming with it.
Shout out to
He layering it on thick.
and Heather just said human thesaurus.
Let my man read dollars.
But
Go ahead.
and
I'm on battle rap. Go ahead.
So, but after you started rapping, who came to you and said, "Hey, I want to sign you to this major label"?
The quick story is I had begun the process of doing a regional deal with my man Jimmy Stevens, rest in peace. Wanted to do a regional deal, so I was already recording. I had grabbed up my man Mike Chapman, and we started working on some demos. But then Mr. Magic, may he rest in peace, basically the creator of the rap radio format. People know him from Biggie shouting him out. Mr. Magic Marley Marl. So Mr. Magic was here in Cleveland with Roxanne Shante and my man Fly Ty, who is still with us, who was the owner, creator of Cold Chillin' Records that put out Big Daddy Kane, Roxanne Shante, all the, the Juice Crew,
Right.
All Stars. So Mr. Magic and Fly Ty was in Cleveland with a young 14-year-old Roxanne Shante. And Mike Chapman called me up, said, "You want to roll with me to pick up Mr. Magic and Shante from the airport?" He had the WDMT van. Sure, we pick him up. We already had the demos. He throws my demo in the deck. And Mr. Magic is like, "Yo, who was that? Like, I know every MC on the planet. I ain't never heard." He said, "That's my man Chill." He looks back at me. He said, Who did the production?" I point back up at Mike, who's driving the van. He said, "Oh, I see how this is going down. Y'all got me hemmed up." And so he said, "Can I take this back, to New York with me?" And so he took the tape back, and I end up being in the hands of my man Sal at the world famous Fever. The Club Fever is the first hip hop club of any national note in the South Bronx, the home of hip hop.
You performed the Fever that was on Crush Groove?
The Fever from Crush Groove, yes. And I was probably a couple months away from being in the movie Crush Groove. I was the only Fever artist on the label that was not in the movie, but the movie had just wrapped production as my deal was getting done. But yeah, the Fever, anybody in New York could tell you that the Fever was like the first club that hip hop ever knew. Before the Fever, you could only really see hip hop in the parks. But the Fever in the South Bronx also started a label, Fever Records. And everybody, it's a legendary label of hip hop. And everybody on the label, specifically Love Bug Starsky, was from New York. So I was the first non-New Yorker on a New York label. So not only am I the first Cleveland rapper to have a national deal, I'm the first non-New York rapper to be on a specific New York label. So yeah, big ups,
How long did you live in New York?
Because throughout most of my time, my recording career, I was a college student. So I was always in school. Okay. Now I took a little time off to do shows, to do tours. And most of the times when I was in New York, I spent a lot of time in the Bronx, a lot of time in Manhattan. And then later on, I basically lived in Brooklyn. Big ups to Brooklyn, to BK, to Bed-Stuy. And so between Brooklyn and the Bronx and Manhattan is where I stayed. But I was always back to Kent State University during that time.
In Kent, Ohio. Wow. So how much, so were you like the first millionaire hip hop artist from Cleveland?
I wish. No, it wasn't that much money in hip hop back then.
In them days, yeah.
I tell people, and big ups to my brother MC Brains, who was the first platinum artist out of Ohio. But just to let you know the difference between the times, when I was out, do you know how many platinum rap artists there were? One, Run DMC. They were the only
The ones
platinum
that got
artists.
the Adidas signing deal making it
They
so
were the only-
Adidas.
When you were out,
When I was out, there was only one platinum artist.
it wasn't platinum.
No,
No.
one. He's
Uh-uh.
gold. There was when I was out, there was only one platinum artist, and that was Run DMC. So that's the difference
You mean to tell me
of how
the whole
hip hop
80s,
was.
The whole 80s of hip hop, one platinum artist.
Yeah, how
Run
old
DMC. Go
is
check it
yeah.
out.
Wait, how old is
But-
he?
okay. Put it this way. Put it this way. You got to remember that hip hop was black people music, and there was no crossover until Run DMC did Walk This Way.
Right, exactly.
There was no crossover. So, to go gold is incredible.
You know what, Heather, she just said, now she'll need a shoe line. You need a shoe line.
There you go.
Right.
So, and we had a deal going, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it was, back in the day, you were really doing it for the love. You got to remember, when I was out, this was before
new.
a lot of cats. I was out before Public Enemy. So, when I did a song, Open Your Eyes, that was about apartheid in South Africa. Nobody was doing world political rap before that song.
There was usually the party stuff, and then the gangster stuff came.
That's right. So I'm doing political stuff, but again, I'm a college student at this time.
Right.
And at Kent State University, we big on our Pan-African Studies department. So I'm kicking also that knowledge in what I'm talking about. But yeah, so it wasn't you I don't know if you remember an OLL rhyme that said 6 G's for 20 minutes is the pay I earn.
Yeah.
6 G's
60
was big.
Big back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. Not cats get millions of dollars for shows.
So if you would have, Ned was sure, younger, if you were coming out now, how would you come out? Would you still come out as an independent, or would you still try to sign to a label?
Well, obviously, independent now is that's another thing. So you got to realize that hip hop was born off independent labels.
Mm-hmm.
Run DMC was on Profile Records. That's an independent label. I was on Fever Records. That's an independent label. Matter of fact, when hip hop started, there was only one major label artist out, and that was Curtis Blow. But other than that, every rap artist was on an independent label. But, somebody like Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke showed us the way that you can make your own records, have your own distribution, have your own deal, have your own label. And then later, Russell Simmons showed us the same thing. You talked about the blueprint. So yeah, a lot of cats before that showed us the blueprint and how to make money. Russell did. Before Puffy, there was Russell. Before Kanye, there was Puffy.
We can't forget about Easy.
Yeah,
but that was
80s.
Russell.
That was the 80s.
Yeah, that's the late 80s. That's like 89.
We talk about that.
Yeah, 89.
Russell,
Nice.
86, 89 is not that far away.
Man, in hip hop years,
that's a lot of years.
Let me tell you, because that's the bridge. That NWA Eazy-E, that's the bridge between the beginning of what rap was right up until that point. They were in that political conscious rap, and all of a sudden the so-called gangster rap that changed the landscape of hip hop and what we were talking about and what we were doing. But it also changed how much money was coming in, because hip hop had gotten so conscious that it was too smart for their own good. And but when Easy and them came in and dropped Dope Man, that changed the game.
And that changed the money in the flash. And then you see the gold chains and stuff coming out, and to be honest, listening to the Pan-African rap, listening to X-Clan and things of that nature, that's what hip hop was. It was the conscience of the street in a positive way.
Right.
When NWA came out, the Negroes with attitudes, I'm not going to use the other word, it brought a different level to the street game.
But my point was, Easy and them were part of a label that was run by somebody else. And what I'm saying is, and Russell and them brought in the fact that you could be in hip hop and do comedy, Def Comedy Jam. You could do a clothing line. You could have your own management, your own label. So Easy and them came in under Jerry Heller, and that's a whole nother story.
And that's when the thing about it is you want to talk about anti-Semitism. When Cube separated from NWA, Jerry, and if you look at the movie, there was a lot more bad blood that was going on when Cube separated because of the money.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, a lot of cats showed us the way, and certainly I would have done it differently. But the things that I was trying to do was bring up other people in Cleveland. I think I was successful for the most part because I brought up cats like Bango the B-Boy Outlaw, Lori D, MC350, who ended up being down with the Face Mob, my man Todd Sams, who ended up being choreographer for Usher and Beyonce and Chris Brown. So I brought up a lot of cats underneath me that started doing other things, but and
yes, it's the Beyonce and Chris Brown.
That's
right.
That's correct. But Usher's original choreographer is from Cleveland.
Shaker Heights, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Ski was down with the original Step Off crew. But yeah, all them cats came up under me, and I started doing radio at ZAK. I did the Rappers Delight show and broke a lot of new records, and as well as Cleveland artists. So yeah, I did my thing, and I'm proud of my contribution to hip hop, not just as an artist. And I got into journalism as a hip hop journalist. I started writing for Source Magazine. That was my first regular journalism gig. And the next thing I know, I'm the president of the Black Journalists Association of Cleveland.
Did you write for Johnny O's magazine?
I was one of the first. It's a Rap. I was one of the first. I was managing editor of It's a Rap magazine.
That's what's up. So now obviously, right, man. This is a whole nother show,
right?
I'm saying I was out on the scene prior to John. Like I was out doing radio and rapping as a member of the Bomb Squad. I remember when Johnny O came out. We was already doing stuff. And John and them came in. I said that in the documentary. John came in blowing it up, man. I was like, man, this cat's gonna be somebody to recognize. And John, people call us now, me, Johnny O, and DJ Cochise. They're doing this documentary. They're referring to us as Cleveland Hip Hop Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. Me, Cochise, DJ Johnny O. But yeah, John, man, it's not a lot of people that go back that far with me, and John is my brother for life in hip hop, and we've seen the beginnings of Cleveland hip hop.
What about women rappers? Who was coming up? You give us like a few women rappers that was rapping back in your day.
Yeah, well, people. I mean, and people forget about. I always shout out Carmela MC, the Mellow MC Ice-T. Before we knew about Ice-T in LA. She was a part of the Hollywood Show Rocks, one of the first female rap groups. Of course, Niecy and Nikki, Niecy D. Of course, 350, my girl Lori, who was with the Face Mob. So yeah, it's always been some sisters getting down in Cleveland and spitting bars too. So big ups to everybody that go back into the cultural fabric of Cleveland hip hop.
Now, I'm just gonna go all the way through with this. You've done interviews with Halle Berry, you've done interviews with the famous stars. There's one interview, and
I hope we're not talking about Lil Tev.
Yeah, we talking about Lil Tev.
Man, come on, man.
That's what you're talking about.
There's the thing about it is I gotta talk about come on. Right. You call me LG Junior. So LG Junior, the prince of all the Leon Harmon.
Want his gift? I'll be eating his gift.
I put it back in my pocket.
No.
We doing that now?
No, just the thing about it is the thing about it is I know that was your worst interview, but who was your best interview?
Oh man, I've interviewed so many. That's hard to say, man. I've interviewed Denzel Washington. Mm-hmm. I've interviewed Dr. Maya Angelou.
In person?
In person, face to face. Every black actor, and everybody saw you. Well, I don't know if everybody. I posted my interview that I did with Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace to Black Panther.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Wakanda Forever is coming out soon.
And
Yes.
so, you know, I've interviewed authors, I've interviewed actors, I've interviewed writers. So it's hard to say, man. I've interviewed my man Bernie Mac, was one of my favorite. I've interviewed Bernie Mac, rest in peace. I've interviewed Bernie Mac maybe 4 or 5 times, face to face. And Bernie was always a very giving interview. And although everybody knows that Tevin Campbell probably is historically one of the worst interviews I've ever done, I will also say that I've probably had 7 horrible interviews with Chris Rock. I'm saying continuously the worst interviews, to the point where they said, chill, you don't even have to interview him anymore if you don't want to. I'm like, nah, we go, maybe this one will be the one.
So who was the interviews with, the Call-In Post or somebody else?
Sometimes they were with the Call-In Post, sometimes because at some point I became my own brand.
Right.
And I was doing interviews for different television markets, different television media, different radio media. Sometimes I even did interviews instead of my man, the Moss man, David Moss.
That's right.
Sometimes that I would be there, and Dave, at one specific time, Dave was like, chill, can you do this interview for me? And we'll use the answers that they give you for my interview. So I've even had a chance to step in, and Dave is the best, man. He's my Yoda as far as interviewing celebrities. But yeah, it's so many people that I've interviewed, I couldn't tell you. But like right offhand, Bernie Mac, Maya Angelou, Denzel Washington, Chadwick Boseman, Mary J. Blige.
Right. Did you go to the, you weren't back in the Mary J. Blige concert, were you?
No, I just got back, so I didn't make it. But there probably isn't a black actor that I haven't interviewed. And not only, but I've interviewed, Matt Damon and
What about what's her name? Precious.
Well, she's only really in 2 movies, so I did Gabrielle Sedovia, so I didn't.
All right.
So if you didn't catch one of them 2 movies that I missed.
So you said Chris Rock, you brought up something interesting because Will Smith, and Chris Rock got into that thing with the Oscars. Did you think Chris Rock deserved that Oscar?
Hey man, let me tell you something. And I tell you now, and people know that I've had issues with Will. I've had issues with both of them. I've been on bad connections with Will and Chris.
Really?
So I thought that was interesting that the 2 of them got caught up in that. So I wanted to smack Will and Chris.
Oh damn! Okay.
But
and I'm sure that Will Smith would have never walked up to you like he did Chris Rock at the Oscars.
I would hope not. But
it would be a problem.
But between me and you, and I've really never told the story on any radio format. But Will and I had a issue, an instance. And a lot of times because Will and I are we come up together. He's a peer that we came up in the industry at the same time.
Right. He came up because remember, before he became Will Smith, he was the Fresh Prince. With the parents just don't understand.
Right. But what I'm saying is, Will and I came out the exact same time.
Right.
When I came out with Busta's Rhyme with the television show joints, he came out with Girls of the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble with the I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
I came out with Downbeats with the beatbox. He came out with a beatbox jam. I came out with Nightmare on Chill Street. He came out with Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was about to bring that up.
So I'm saying, Will and I we've been
out competition.
We've been out at the same time with similar music.
Right.
But I'm always glad to see cats from my era specifically doing other things. And it happens a lot because I've interviewed other MCs from my era who are doing movies because it's a lot now. So it's LL, it's Ice-T, it's Will, it's Latifah, Big Daddy Kane. So even Ice Cube to some extent. So I've interviewed all of those people as a former MC talking to another former MC who's now doing something else. But yeah, now Will and I had a little run in. That's another story. But yeah, but Chris, man, like I said, I've had like several back-to-back interviews with Chris that just went way left, but not as left as the Tevin Campbell interview.
I mean, the thing about it is that everybody, and we know that little Tevin Campbell is gay. And
hey, that ain't got nothing to do with him about to get his ass whooped.
You want to share a brief? God damn!
How?
So, so you want to share a little bit, hey man, of the Tevin Campbell?
I had to remind Lil Tev. At that point, that was probably my second interview as a journalist ever. I had done my first real interview was rest in peace with the legendary what's my man that made Superfly, Curtis Mayfield. Man, it was one of the greatest interviews ever. He had just became a quadriplegic, and I was like, man, I don't know if this interview gonna go good. The scaffold done fell on this brother. He can't move his arms, his legs. But it was one of the greatest interviews, man. We talked for an hour. He sang songs while I was interviewing him. I'm like, man, this whole journalism thing is gonna be nice. And then my second interview is Tevin Campbell. And I had to remind his little ass.
Go ahead. You might want to leave the room.
I'm like, hey man, I'm only like 2 months from just being a rapper. Like I'm not really a journalist right now. And you talking to the wrong person, talking real fly at the mouth how you talking.
How old was he when he did that?
He was old enough to get his ass.
That's all that need to be.
Is what I'm trying to tell
If
you.
you ordered up to talk smack, you ordered up to get messed up. That's what Bernie Mac said in a whole different format.
He was real
What's understood
reckless.
don't need to be explained, baby.
He was real reckless and disrespectful. And Joe Stills was there. Joe was there with me.
Joe explained the story to me, and I'm still laughing at it. But the thing about it is, like, why would he, like, man, you know who you dealing with? You know, you don't have whole Lee and Harvard just throw your stuff and stomp your stuff in the ground.
Man,
You mess
about
with
to
shit.
get a whole JFK Rec Center.
Oh, Lord.
But no, but for real. So we interviewed it. And Tevin, I guess, was having some mental issues or some personal issues.
Like Kanye now.
Or some other issues that he was dealing with. And he was a little reckless at the mouth. And it got to the point where I had to make a decision. I'm going to have to stop talking to Tevin in the middle of the interview, or else I'm going to have to put hands on him.
And be open to some lawsuits.
Because I wasn't a journalist at the time.
You were still just coming off. So
I was just coming off doing a show at the Glenville Festival.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, Silver B, yes, chill, MC Chill, come on up and say some rhymes. But and rest in peace to my man B. But yeah, I was just really becoming a journalist at that time. And Tevin was headed down the wrong path with me, so I actually had to stop the interview. I stopped talking to Tevin. I just you know how to when the artists stop the interview and they stop talking,
and they get a
right. In this instance, the interviewer had to stop talking because he was going there, man.
You was like Baby on the Breakfast, so you better put some respect on my name.
He was going there, bro.
I ain't saying no more.
But I'm looking to do a re-up with Tevin after all these years. My guy who was a journalism professor at Kent State, Gene Sheldon, was the one who set that interview up, and he still talks to Tevin. And so I was talking to Gene. I said, I'd like some closure on this. 35 years later, or however long it was, to actually sit down and talk to Tevin.
Tevin might apologize now that he's growing up about because he probably was young and immature. We give him a second chance. But I want to be a fly on the wall. I want to be there when you do it.
I'm looking for my Tevin re-up.
I'm going to slip you some money. I'm going to say this on air right. I'm going to slip you some money. You let me know when you going to do it. I will get an Uber. I don't care where it is to where you are to the Tevin. Just give me access. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to look.
Hey, man, I'm protesting Can We Talk. Every time I hear that song, I'll be like, boom.
You do that all the time.
Man, and let me tell you, I was at a festival. I was with my wife. It was an outdoor festival, and they was like, my wife is a woman of stature.
Shout out to Mrs.
She's a PhD,
right?
And she ain't really with the foolishness, right? So we walking, and they said, coming up next, Tevin Campbell, and I was like, boo! And my wife looked around like, what the hell? Was that you? Like, let's try not to do that again
She
out in public.
She didn't snatch you up, did she?
Hey, but I looked at her like, it was heaven. You you inherited my hatred with Tevin. So
when you married
When
me,
you married
I
me.
told her about Tevin.
I
Like,
took you out. When you married me, I took
you know when they say for better, for worse,
Right.
or booing Tevin Campbell.
Right. How long have you and Dr. Chill been? I call her Dr. Chill. How long y'all been married?
We've been together for a while. We've been together for almost 30 years, but I knew her in college even before.
Right.
Congratulations.
Black love,
And
you
then
can't
to
beat
give
it.
her a shout out, she's now vice president over at Tri-C, and historically at Kent State, because a lot of people know me from being like one of the original rapper at Kent State University. She was the first. My wife was the first female president of Black United Students. Before her, they were all males.
Right.
And after her, now other women have become presidents of the Black United Students organization, but she was the first female to be president of Black United Students. So shout out to Dr. Janice Taylor Hurd.
All right, Dr.
Kudos.
Taylor. So, God, we got to wrap this up. I hate to do this. Listen.
I didn't get a chance to kick bars.
You gotta
All right.
give him a chance. Let him kick
Larry,
some
I got
bars
you.
real quick.
Hold on. Here, I'm giving Larry what did it say? It say souvenir from Egypt.
From
Egypt. You see it say souvenir from Egypt. I didn't get this from the gas
Right.
station.
it
You know
does
what?
say
There you
that.
go,
See
brother.
Thank you very much. Ooh.
It's the refrigerator magnet. That is the hawk. That is not the United States eagle. That's the original emblem of Horus, Heru, holding his lotus. Those aren't the things he holding. Is not from like the United States emblem.
Right.
Those are the lotus.
Right. God
A
bless you.
lot of things are gonna look similar because they were copied
Right.
from the original.
I want to hear some bars though.
No, we can't. We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. I
Okay.
mean, the thing about it is,
I'm always prepared to spit bars.
well, you know
Okay.
what? We got.
Well,
you know
go
what?
ahead. 'Cause
Go ahead. You know what?
I'm live
Give you,
on Facebook.
Before I go, I'm gonna give you time. So we gonna. So chill.
I don't have to spit bars.
I would love to hear that.
She wants to hear it. Will you, ladies' request?
Yes.
Okay, we doing something now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. See,
Listening.
I was just playing.
No, I'm
No,
serious.
okay, hold on. Let me see. I'm a pyramid builder plus an MC. Oh man, see, I got that means it's new. Like I'm just coming with that. I'm back from Egypt. I'm a pyramid builder plus an MC. Them bars got fire in the middle for when I build them. See, I've been in rooms with tombs, with valleys and temples. Now I can make this difficult, but I'm gonna keep it simple. Do you know what it's like to be MC Chill? From darkness to light, you gotta fight to be chill. When I get all hyped, they be like, MC, chill. But if you write about Cleveland, it ain't right without chill. They looked all over the earth and the ground, all up and down. Had to remove their shoes when they found me on holy ground. Angels with angles was checking for MCs. I raised 5 fingers and stood on 90 degrees. I said I started this thing when it was harder to swing. But we game couldn't hang with their names on a chain. That's MC Chill. You remember the time. Downbeats, nightmares, bust this rhyme. Rhyme raised in Asia, Moorish made mine. Who said that I couldn't turn water to wine? But if you never heard my prophecy or MC story, if you never caught the bus to the plush and the snow and the slush and your girl screamed for me, I'm the M, the C, the CH to the L. And if I wasn't, then Cleveland wouldn't be so real. If I didn't, you'd have a lot of time to kill. And if I never, you'd still be looking for chill. They said I self-law and master travels fast. I just got back from the east. I won't say goodbye, I'll just say peace.
Black fist up, number 1. Black fist up, number 2. Fire, 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 fire. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to. You and MC Brains, are y'all working on something together right now for Cleveland? I know you was working with Suave. You guys paved the way for other hip hop artists here, like Ray Jr. and things of that nature.
That's my brother, man. I just actually because I heard that Brains was not feeling well, so I reached out to him and I shouted him out.
Get well, MC Brains, man.
Yeah, so I called my brother and I I sent him a message and he reached back to me. So yeah, I look at Brains as a brother. It's not a lot of us who knows what it's like to be an early Cleveland artist out on wax, out doing shows all over the country. And so he and I share that experience. So any chance I get, man, me and Brains build. But we've been talking about doing something together for a while, and he's always been receptive to it. And he's like, yo, chill, whatever you need. So he's good about it like that. So, you know, Larry, we'll try to expedite matters and get something together.
God bless
with
you,
me and Brains for the land.
The president of the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists, I thank you for joining me. I thank you for the gift. I will cherish this. I'll probably frame this thing because
It's a refrigerator magnet to keep your food chill.
From MC Chill. So,
Talk to me.
right. Talk to me, Cleveland. Talk to me. If nobody tells you that they love you today, I do. Shout out to MC Chill. Shout out to Shayla Jackson. Shout out to the Human T-Rex. We're going out with MC Chill. So, peace, love, and hair grease. We out of here. Remember, check out the Cap. I'm going to have the cast on next week. I'm in the movie as the professor. Cedar Lee Theater, November 6th. Opening night for the Cap movie. And also, check us out everywhere. And make sure you vote November 8th. Early voting has already started. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out here on WNRB 1081.com, their DJs network, where you get on your nerves, baby.
Peace. That was nice. I have so many
I'm a
people.
pyramid builder.
You just made that up on the way.
Fire in the middle. Do you know the pyramid actually translates to fire in the middle?
In English? I didn't know that.
Pyramid in Greek, pyramid means fire in the middle. Like pyrotechnic.
Oh!
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Pyromaniac.
About to be out.
Pyramid.
This was a
fire
great
in the
interview.
middle in Latin.
Peace.
Wow.
Y'all be good.
That sounds